Space Crusade takes you into warp space to fight the force of chaos. Deep in a parallel universe where nightmares are real. Space Crusade, the ultimate adventure game, where you must use all your skill and weaponry.
Plasma gun! Dreadnought!
To battle through infested starships and win the highest rank. The ultimate encounter is here. Space Crusade, now with a new adventure pack.
So, a while back, I beat Castlevania 4, or Super Castlevania 4, and to be honest, I would have talked about it then, but this video took way longer to come out than I thought it would. So, we're going to talk about it now, in kind of a retrospect, hindsight type deal. I loved this game. I think this game is one of the best of its kind, and I think at least everyone should play it once. I feel like this is one game that is essential for anyone looking to get into games, especially games from this era. I think it's amazing. I think visually it is fantastic. I think gameplay wise it is some of the best of the genre, and its difficulty is not as high as something like, I don't know, Castlevania 1, 2, or 3, or any of the later Castlevania games. I feel like this is a perfect starter game for this franchise and this genre. I think it really does hold up to this day, to be honest, and I feel like there's not a whole lot of games from this era that you can effectively say hold up as well as this does. I think it's up there with games like Super Metroid, A Link to the Past, like it's fantastic, and there's no better word for it. It is fan-fucking-tastic. Also, I want to say, the music is amazing. It really is so fucking good. It's so iconic. I would play some if I wasn't scared of this video getting taken down because of it. I'm not sure if Konami is super pissy about their video game soundtrack, so I'm not even going to risk it, and we're going to stick to the regular Adult Swim type stuff for this video. But I also want to say, what you're seeing on footage, what you're seeing on screen right now, the footage, is from my favorite level. The clock tower is so much fun. It was one of the coolest parts of the game, in my opinion. I was really surprised. I loved the upwards momentum that it has you doing, the way that you're jumping through like the cogs, and the way that they'll like turn you around and spin you, and just this constantly feeling like there's stuff going on, like literally cogs moving, the cogs are turning. Constantly feeling like you're actually in an actual clock tower. So I highly recommend, if you haven't played Super Castlevania 4, then I say, what are you doing? Get on it right now. It's some good shit. It is. If you're even thinking about getting into games from this era, start with this one. Start with this one. It's not that bad in terms of difficulty. I would recommend playing it the way that I did, which is the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. So, you know, you get your save states if that's your forte. And look, the way I look at that, like You don't tell anybody about my save states, I won't tell anybody about yours. Okay? Highly recommended.
The deadly. Go on. You know what it's like to get it right between the eyes? To see the juice squirt out of your family like the 4th of July? Ever hear a scream so loud it scrambled your intestines? And the burning light right before the fall?
Only a pro could do this. Recognize him?
That's the one!
Gamecom Pocket Pro, the only portable cartridge system that plays Resident Evil 2.
I want to talk about how Assassin's Creed 1 surprisingly holds up pretty well. And a little bit about how times have changed with Ubisoft. Times have really changed since then, but we'll get there. This game started out as a Prince of Persia spinoff, and eventually became its own thing. And it's weird to think about how it has become one of the, premier gaming franchises, I guess. And if you don't think that Assassin's Creed is one of the top gaming franchises, then, I don't know why you don't. There's been, 30 entries now. It's kind of crazy now. It's too much to keep track of at this point, in my opinion. But, this game, while lacking in some of the mechanical improvements that the later games have, playing it as if it was the only one to ever exist, it's not that bad. I think that it's mechanically solid if you can get past, not having some of the really nice features of some of the later entries, specifically even stuff from Assassin's Creed 2, there's no, air assassinations. Which, I know they touch on that in the lore, of Altair creating that, but this game visually has such an interesting art style and color grading. It's all this blue and gray and very muddied tones, and sure, it's oh well, that's what most PS3 and 360 games from this era looked like. I feel like it was very intentional, and the different colors used for each of the different areas really set the tone for each of those areas. I think, as a whole, it's still worth playing. If you're looking to get into the franchise, you could do a lot worse for a first entry, in my opinion. But I want to talk about how times have changed. And the sheer destruction that Ubisoft has wrought upon their image. What they have done to fans, to players, just... What once was a company that was at the prime of the gaming industry and one of the top developers, in my opinion, has now become a shadow of its former self, and the company holding it has destroyed most of the goodwill that was left for it. In fact, I've written something that I'd like to voice. Originally, it was just going to be text on a screen, but I feel like I need to say it. The future of this company does not seem to have a place for me as a player of their games. It appears bleak for the individuals who work there and for those who play the games they used to create. If Ubisoft wants players to get comfortable not owning the games they purchase, then Ubisoft will get comfortable with players not purchasing the games they make. I do not think the future looks bright for the franchises they've pawned off to Tencent in a last-ditch effort to save their company. Speak with your wallets, and let this sad dying horse we call Ubisoft wither to dust and blow away. Alright, secret level. Overall, I feel pretty positive about this show. I feel like there are some pretty great episodes. There's a few episodes that are kind of just boring. Just straight mid, in my opinion. I would even say. And then there's, like, 2 episodes that are just complete garbage. It was kind of shocking. You know, some of the ones that are mid that spring to mind is, I can't remember which one it is, but it's the military one. Also the Dungeons and Dragons one are both, like, super boring in my opinion. But then you get some really, really good ones, like the Unreal Tournament one, or the Warhammer one. I also really enjoyed the Sifu and Pac-Man one. The Mega Man one was also pretty solid. Now, the ones that are bad, that would be the PlayStation one and the the Concord one. And, well, if anybody remembers Concord at this point, or Concord, I think it's hilarious what happened. And I'd like to point something out, like, apparently in the Concord episode, there are characters that do not appear in the game, implying that they would have been added later and this would have been their first appearance. But that just never happened because Concord just failed miserably. And then the PlayStation episode, oh man, wow. PlayStation episode was really bad. I don't understand why Kevin Hart's there. I don't understand how it felt more like an advertisement than some advertisements do. Like, I genuinely feel like if you go back and watch the PS3 Michael advertisement, you know, where all the PlayStation characters are in the bar talking about the guy who plays their games, Michael, and celebrating him, I feel like I got a better experience watching that advertisement than I did watching this entire fucking episode of the PlayStation episode. It was kind of shocking. I'm not gonna lie. I think visually, this show knocks it out of the park. I loved seeing all the different art styles. The music and sound quality were all very top notch. It was really interesting getting to see all the different art styles. I think my personal favorites are definitely the Warhammer. My personal favorites are probably the Warhammer, the Unreal Tournament, and Sifu. Those are like my top 3, I feel like. And then Mega Man and Pac-Man are like 4th and 5th place. But those top 3 really knocked it out of the park. The Armored Core one was also pretty solid. I'm not going to lie. It looked pretty cool. And as far as I understand, this show did well enough to get a Season 2 announcement. So if that is true, then I'm excited to see what they do, because I'm interested to see what games they choose to make episodes about this time, and hopefully they take what they learned, from Season 1, kind of double down on the good episodes and kind of trim the fat of some of the mid and bad episodes, and really just, tighten it up a little bit. I think it could lead to an even better Season 2 than from an already solid Season 1, personally. Hey, I just want to say, this video took a hell of a lot longer to come out than I ever thought it would and ever wanted it to. And there were some cuts made due to some personal issues. But I just want to thank you, the viewer, for watching. It means the world if you made it this far. I had a lot of fun making this video, and to finally have it in a complete state feels like such a load off my shoulders. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to make the next one even better and to kind of tune up some of my commentary. But again, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a dislike. Tell me why in the comments. Have a good day. Thank you.